CVC, others, Redbird, they've considered putting billions of dollars into college sports. Would you consider putting similar dollars in?
I think college sports is on the precipice of major change. I think if you look at what college sports should be thinking about, right, there's a couple things right now that they're struggling with. One, NIL is the wild, wild west, right? So there's no standard, right? But in order to standardize NIL, there's going to have to be collective bargaining. So how do you figure out how to do collective bargaining in a system where it's very fragmented? Secondly, you have this transfer portal where that again is the wild, wild west. So there's going to have to be some form of regulation, especially now that there's compensation, because this is going to change everything. I think we're in the early days and people really don't understand. But, I think one of the things that I'm part of a group and we're thinking a lot about, right, is how do you build a proper, league with maybe 10, maybe 12 divisions, maybe 6, maybe 8 teams per division. Right, there's roughly 130 Division I schools. So how do you give them all the opportunity to compete? Right, but of course there's major brands that are going to want to make sure that if they're chipping in, that they get what they deserve because they're the brands that everyone's watching. So, in a perfect world, you have 82 teams, 70 teams, 85 teams, something like that. You have a relegation and promotion element to it, where the other teams can come up and compete. And you really start to think about how do you make it so it's truly national, right? And so I think there's a commitment, but there's obviously a lot of ingrained challenges in that because there's stakeholders that aren't interested in losing what they have today. So, but ultimately, I don't see how you're going to deal with NIL and you're going to deal with transfer portal and you're going to deal with collective bargaining without a proposition that's much more complete.